I moved from the US to Europe and I plan on never going back.
Take my advice and leave America. I honestly don't see it getting any better anytime soon. Book a one-way ticket out of the US if you are trying to save money. Ridiculously expensive to live in the US.
This new America that we live in, it's exhausting.
Shalom. First, I start by giving honor and to Yahweh, Bashim, Yahushai, Bashim, Rakakadash. Double honor to teach others and was a great millstone, likewise, brothers, but not the truth. Faithfully, fearlessly feeding the sheep into brothers and sisters that tuning in. Shalom. Today's lesson's titled Escaping America. They don't consider the mark. Now, you saw in that opening clip, a series of females, making complaints about the cost of living here in Great Babylon, America, and they're encouraging others to leave America and find a better life elsewhere. But what they don't consider is that the judgment from the Lord Yahweh Shemashah is going to be upon all nations on this earth, so there is no escape from it. Okay, now I'm going to show you some extra clips, but let's go into the scriptures here. This is the book of Revelation 12:12. It reads, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time." We can see in the headlines right now what's taking place on this earth. Okay, you have multiple conflicts going on. Okay, you have Russia and Ukraine. You have now the U.S. and Israel with Iran. And if you've been following this conflict, these other nations are being impacted by this out there in the Gulf region. So we're going to see how this skirmish is going to escalate into what is going to become World War III. Okay, where Israel, the least of the flock, has drawn Great Babylon, America into a conflict for its own interests. Okay, but these people, they're in the flesh, and of course they don't consider the fact that Great Babylon, America has a finite time. Okay, the so-called white man has a finite time, and this is why you're seeing right now, that red horse, which represents Esau, the so-called white man with a great sword, is taking away peace from the earth. And this is going to have a cataclysmic effect on all tribes on this earth. But the Hophlilek, of Yahshua, the so-called blacks and the Americans and Latinos, who are the true believers of the Mashiach, and Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, we're rejoicing, because this is prophecy coming to pass. Let's go to the book of Isaiah 24 and start verse 10. And it reads, the city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up that no man may come in. There's crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. And this is why you're seeing, videos like these are coming out, because, in the back of most people's mind, they anticipate retiring. They anticipate, their good job will be able to sustain them, until they reach their old age, and maybe they might even have a little bit left over to pass on to their kids. However, that's not what's taking place. Let's go to Deuteronomy 32 and verse 39, because you have to understand, who's really in control of what's taking place on this earth. It reads, "See now that I, even I, am he, and there's no power with me. I kill and I make alive, I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of mine hand." So the Most High Yahweh Shemashah is bringing the judgment upon this earth. And there's no delivery. Doesn't matter where you go, So let's take a look at this clip before I continue to move forward.
Seriously, there's a reason why so many people are thinking of moving abroad. Not because life is perfect elsewhere, but because at least they have a chance. Of course, there's a cost of living crisis around the world. I just feel like the one right now in the United States is just undoable for young people. What do you think about this? What is your cost of living like here in the United States?
People are talking about recession indicators when the real recession indicator is that people are leaving the United States. People are realizing you can't live comfortably in the United States with the amount of pay and the cost of living. And then if you can cover your cost of living, you're miserable. You might as well just leave and just go to a country where the cost of living is cheap.
Does that make sense to you? Do you understand why people are leaving now? Don't be ashamed of it. If you need to increase your quality of life by looking outside the United States, do it. Panama, Costa Rica, Colombia, Mexico, Dominican Republic, whatever. If you can increase your quality of life by leaving the U.S., I understand it.
You get to actually enjoy life and do things on your own time. And I feel like right now is probably the best time to leave the US. And yes, that's everywhere in the world, but it's just so different when you live in a country other than the US.
Okay, and as you saw in that clip, again, more complaining, okay, and you see more of this, okay, as people now have come to the conclusion, okay, and some of these are jakes, you can tell, okay, but they've come to the conclusion that the best way to escape judgment is to actually leave America, and that's not the case. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28, that's verse 45, which tells you, okay, especially if you're a Hebrew Israelite, okay, you're going to get this judgment no matter where you go. It reads, moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because thou hast hearkened not unto the voice of the Lord Yahweh Shemashah thy power to keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded thee. Now, when you go through the book of Deuteronomy 28, starting from verse 15 onwards to 68, okay, it's a lot of judgment and curses that are upon the children of Israel, and it helps identify who the true people are of the Lord Yahweh Shemashah, because of the inescapable judgments that we constantly receive. Okay, we can't get out of it. Okay, we're in bondage, we are in servitude. Okay, and our people are basically crashing out and losing their mind. Okay, and simultaneously, okay, pursuant to Deuteronomy 30 and 7, there's a transition process that's taking place, which is the reason why you're seeing the people that we thought would unlikely experience poverty and tribulation are now experiencing it, and that's these Edomites, okay, and even these other tribes, okay, they're catching hell right now, and so many of them are considering maybe this place is not the place to be, maybe we should go back. And you hear them mention about going to Latin America, some would mention going into Africa. Okay, and when you think about Latin America, I mean, most of the tribes of Israel and those it was known as South America and Central America. So if the judgments are going to come and 2/3 of our people are going to get put to death, okay, probably not the best place for you jakes to try to run to. Okay, let's go to Deuteronomy. Let's go into Revelation 16 and start verse 15. It reads, behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garment, lest he walk naked, and they see his shame. So the Lord Yahweh Shemashah does things, okay, unexpectedly. Okay, so the only ones on this earth that are expecting these judgments, expecting chaos, expecting tribulation, expecting non-improvement of anything, okay, and it's not going to be deceived by, would be, oh, we have the answer to, the problem, okay, or we have the solution to the problem, are going to be the elect. Everybody else is just going to be waiting, for some form of relief. Relief to us is when we get on the chariots, okay? It's not going to be from Esau the Edomite, the so-called white man, okay, who is the harbinger, okay, of death, okay? Take a look at this clip.
Many of us are living paycheck to paycheck and just continuing to accrue debt. And honestly, the only way that I saw out was to sell my house and to move to Bali. And if you don't have a house to sell, that's okay. Take what money that you have in savings and book a one-way ticket to an affordable country like Indonesia, Thailand, Ecuador, Colombia, Vietnam, Cambodia. The cost of living in these countries is less than $1,000. You can probably get it to $200 to $300 for a month. You can stay in hostels. You can house sit for people and have your accommodation completely calm. You can take your savings and go to a much affordable country. There are countries in Latin America and Southeast Asia that are 1/10 of the price of the cost of living in the US. You can find a remote job. You can figure out all those expenses once you get to those countries where your dollar goes much farther.
All right, clearly, okay, again, you go into 2nd Ezra 16, start verse 21, it reads, behold, victuals should be so good cheap upon the earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. So, of course, just last week, okay, or 2 weeks ago, you had gas prices, in the low $2, in certain states, now it's escalated up to like, what, 3 something, $5, $6 in certain places. Okay, food prices going up. Okay, you had people portfolio taking a big hit because why? You have a conflict that's going on that's all of a sudden they attacked Iran out of the blue. Okay, So this is the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah, how he operates. Okay, things are going to be unexpected only if only the elect, okay, would be looking at things and say that's a judgment from the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah. But for the rest of you people, it's always going to be coincidental. So you think that you somehow, can create the path for escape. Continuing, it says, for many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. And the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted, and the cities shall be cast down. So they're telling you, if you go to Indonesia, it makes no difference. Vietnam makes no difference. Latin America makes no difference. You go to Japan, it makes no difference. China, it makes no difference. These judgments are going to come across the entire earth. Those people over there, okay, as peaceful as it might look, the saying is the grass always look green on the other side. They're going to catch hell too. They're going to catch hell, okay? And, you have people talking about, take your American dollar and move overseas where it is worth so much more. The American dollar is going to crash. In fact, let's go into Revelation 13, start verse 16, because it doesn't matter, okay, what status you are on this earth. Here's a judgment that's coming from the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah himself, from the Most High himself. It says, and he caused it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Okay, so this mark already existed, bringing up 6G. Okay, that mark in the forehead that's going to be, okay, you know what Elon Musk is bringing up with the brain chip. Okay, that's that digital ID, and that what they're gonna be putting into people in your forehead or in your brains. Okay, and then the right hand, which is going to be RFID microchip. Okay, it's already existing. Okay, it's already here. So that's going to be the solution to the chaos that this doggone devil is going to bring out. But this is a judgment that's coming from the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai. It's going to be so tough, okay, that Yahweh Shai is going to have a special protection over his chosen people, okay, the ones that he chose, which is the 1/3 elect. Okay, it reads, this is Revelation 3:10. It reads, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. So this is a judgment that's going to come upon the earth. Okay, later into the book of Revelation, it goes into the warning of those who take this mark, the consequences, okay, of perishing in the lake of fire. Okay, and we understand, and it also talk about this grievous sword that falls upon the people. So this is not going to be something that you're just going to roll your sleeve up or yeah, okay, I'll just do it. It's going to come with consequences. There's going to be people who are going to be against it. Okay, and it's just not going to be just so straightforward, because a lot of people sit down and think, yeah, well, I don't care, I'll just take something so I can eat and all that stuff. It's not that easy, okay? It's not that easy. So there's a special protection that's going to be upon, okay, the ones that Mashiach favors. Okay, let's close with the book of Acts 14:22. It reads, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, that's the prophets, and that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of power. So this is not going to be an easy road for anybody. Okay, even the elect is going to have to experience some tribulation. You whatever you have in life, is you're going to have to walk away from it. Okay, there's going to be persecution. Some of us going to be killed. Okay, some of us going to be locked away. And it's just those are the things that comes with walking in this journey. But for the people out there, who are looking to escape America, you haven't considered the mark, and that is something. Unless you are covered by Yahweh Shai, okay, none of you are going to escape it. All right. So Lord, when the elect was edified, let's go by giving all glory and honor to Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai Bashim, Rakakadash, Shalom.